President Biden's sweeping plan to help renters comes at the expense of mom and pop landlords, as if we need another hit, right? And they're not even actually coming after the likes of large companies like BlackRock or any other type of property management company. These are actually coming after the mom and pop landlords like me and you. $1,800 in Social Security checks. We're going to discuss the exact dates, the exact mailing dates for May 2023. Store closures are hitting San Francisco as office vacancies and fears of crime are on the rise. California cannot get a break, folks. Now, there's up to 6.4 million $1 bills in circulation right now that may be worth up to $150,000. I know it sounds crazy. We're going to talk about that later in this video. And your home is one of the most valuable assets for most people. State Farm will no longer issue property insurance in California. This is wild, guys. Lots of big changes have come down the pipeline. I want to get you guys up to speed. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and drop a like for the video. I would totally appreciate that, guys. So store closures are hitting San Francisco as office vacancies and fears of crime are on the rise. Guys, the commercial real estate mortgage market it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So 19 retailers have left San Francisco's Union Square since 2020. The latest departures include Nordstrom, Office Depot, Old Navy. Can you guys, these are big companies. These are not some small retail operations. Retailers cite concerns over employee and customer safety related to shoplifting and other crimes. Are you guys seeing crime escalating in your area? Hit me up in the comment section down below and let me know what things are looking like where you're at. Whole Foods' decision to close its flagship store in downtown San Francisco made national news, but it is far from the only retailer to pull out of the area recently. Now, I do know that there's actually a lot of retail buildings and shopping centers still going up right now, although some are closing. So I'm not sure if this is kind of like, migrating out of the areas that are underperforming and migrating to the areas that are performing. Let me know what you guys are seeing out there. Now, the shopping district around Union Square has lost several major retailers over the last few years as reports of crime and drug use in the area have caused safety concerns for both retailers and patrons. Now, what's wild is I've actually seen a lot of TikTok videos filmed in and around the San Francisco area. And I don't know if this is like an exaggeration, but I've seen some wild and craziness going on. Just stuff that you might see in like that video game, Grand Theft Auto or something like that. Not what you would expect in real life, in real society. I really hope that this is what I saw was a compilation of incidents that, I'm hoping that what I saw was the worst case scenario and not what's happening on a regular basis is the bottom line. But if we have any viewers from California, specifically around the San Francisco area, or if you know people who live there, let me know what you guys have seen or heard. So Old Navy is the latest Gap store to shut down in downtown San Francisco. Its doors will close July 1st. This is horrible. Old Navy, this is a big deal. Saks off of 5th will also close no later than this fall. You've got Amazon Go. They've closed all 4 of its locations in San Francisco in April. Amazon also closed Amazon Go in New York and Seattle. Whole Foods closed its store at Trinity Place on Market Street last month. Lots of store closures, guys. Office Depot said in April it's going to close a location near Union Square. Nordstrom plans on closing its department store downtown. Actually, we had Nordstrom close near me, and obviously it's a huge amount of square foot for that particular department store. It sat vacant for about maybe 8 months to a year before Von Maur actually signed a lease with the mall and occupied that space. Hopefully, wherever Nordstrom is located in California, they can get that location released, because man, to have a big old anchor store like Nordstrom disappear, that's going to be painful. Banana Republic said that in January it would relocate its Union store to another location. So basically, tons of companies are looking to move out of this Union Square location. You've got Athleta, the Container Store, Crate and Barrel, Abercrombie and Fitch, Disney, Marshalls. Guys, they're all trying to bounce. So let's talk about this $1,800 in Social Security checks, exact mailing dates for 2023, May of 2023. So the Social Security Administration the Social Security Administration continues to send monthly checks to retired workers in 2023. Now, the SSA, or Social Security Administration, is also responsible for sending supplemental security income, also known as SSI, SSDI, the supplemental security income for disability and for survivors benefits. But here's the payments for the month of May. So $1,800 in Social Security checks. SSI recipients receive their payments on the first day of each month or the last day of certain months if the first day falls on a weekend. Those who begin receiving their Social Security payments before May of 1997 will receive their benefits on the third of each month. All Social Security checks are sent based on beneficiaries' birthdays. So second Wednesday of the month, retirees with a birth date between the 1st and the 10th. The third Wednesday is for beneficiaries born between the 11th and the 20th. And the fourth Wednesday is for retirees born between the 21st and the 31st. Now, the exact mailing dates for Social Security payments in May. So you got May 1st for SSI recipients. You got May 3rd for payees who began receiving their payments before 1997, May of 1997. May 10th for beneficiaries with a birth date between the 1st and the 10th. May 17th for beneficiaries with a date of birth between the 11th and the 20th. And May 24th for beneficiaries with a date of birth between the 21st and the 31st. Now, this is all, monthly Social Security checks. Thanks to the 8.7% cost of living increase, the average retiree's payment actually rose to $1,827. And this is according to the Social Security Administration. So I'm not making this up. And I know a lot of people are getting a lot more than this for Social Security. Some people are getting a lot less than that from Social Security. But according to the Social Security, the SSA, Social Security Administration, they're saying that the average retirees are receiving $1,827. Now, the maximum benefit for those who retire at 62 years old is $2,572. Workers who retire at full retirement age 67 can receive a maximum benefit of $3,627 a month. So, this is such a debatable topic. Like, is it better to actually wait and get the maximum benefit? Or should you take a lesser amount, but start receiving it early? And then maybe, assuming you have a little bit of margin to work with, maybe you can invest that money into maybe maybe the stock market, maybe real estate, maybe pick up some ETFs or index funds that maybe pay some dividends. And those dividends could help to provide income during the retirement years. Certainly some things to think about. You can leverage platforms like M1 Finance for investing, Fidelity, Vanguard, E-Trade, Moomoo, any of your favorite investment brokerage companies, TD Ameritrade. So yeah, definitely. And then the other thing is like, okay, if you waited to start collecting full retirement age Social Security checks, what if you don't live that long? And I think that this is what the government's banking on, have people wait longer, hoping to get full retirement Social Security checks at full retirement age. But if you don't make it, then they just get to keep the money, basically, right? So I don't know if that's fair. Now, Biden's sweeping plan to help renters comes at the expense of mom and pop landlords. So basically, the White House's plan to nationalize the housing policy and grant renters more protection has left mom and pop landlords basically a little bit concerned. And the blueprint for a renter's Bill of Rights lays out 5 key principles that President Biden he hopes will shape future policymaking at all levels of government with the aim of protecting renters and promoting renter affordability. Now, we've already seen a taste of this. California Governor Gavin Newsom, he's got some pretty unlandlord friendly laws in place, which have allowed a lot of tenants and really deadbeat tenants to take advantage of mom and pop landlords and basically just kind of stay in the properties for essentially years on end. Meanwhile, can you imagine being stuck with two mortgage payments? Most people can barely get by paying one rent payment or one mortgage payment every single month. But just imagine, you're a mom and pop landlord, and then your tenant, if you happen to live in California, decides to stop paying, and then the laws allow the tenant to continue to stay there and not be able to evict the tenant. It's unbelievable, and I understand that some people hit hard times, but the door swings both ways. A hard time can be felt by both the tenant, but it can also be felt by the landlord. So, I'm all about being fair and trying to look out for people. But, at some point in time, something's got to give. Now, there are some alternative means of being able to invest in real estate. Not everyone can afford investing in real estate right now. Many people might struggle being able to come up with a down payment needed to afford to purchase real estate today, specifically as a investment property. And on top of that, it's even more difficult from a cash flow standpoint with Fed Chair Jerome Powell raising interest rates right now. In fact, I reported earlier today that mortgage interest rates have literally just crested over the 7% mark. So it's making purchasing real estate even more expensive and even more difficult to make real estate cash flow. So, yeah. Now, the thing is the good news, I should say, is that you don't have to purchase real estate the traditional way. There are other lower entry ways of getting into real estate as an investment. And the good thing is that, for example, you've got many different ETFs and index funds that will allow you to get in for a lot less money out of pocket to get started. So, for example, you've got Realty Mogul as an opportunity. There is First National Realty Partners. Now, they deal mainly with, I believe they deal mainly with commercial real estate. You'll need to double check that. But Fundrise is also another one. I think a lot of you guys are familiar with that one, and it doesn't require you to be an accredited investor. Fundrise is an online investment platform that lets you invest in dozens of high-end real estate properties without the high-end price tag with as little as $100. So this is good news for the average person trying to get in, right? So now we talked about $1 bills earlier in this video and how they may be worth up to $100,000. So I know a lot of you guys like to keep cash on the side for emergencies, maybe in your safe, under your mattress, a little bit of cash in the car, whatever the case is. Here's the thing. You might want to check your cash and see if you happen to have one of these $1 bills that's worth $150,000 or maybe worth up to $150,000. So basically, coin and currency collectors in the United States may be willing to pay up to $150,000 in search of rare $1 bills with a particular printing error from the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this printing error, but basically, the Fed screwed up, so to speak, right? So the Federal Reserve didn't catch this error, which was kind of wild until it was too late. But basically what happened was two batches of $1 bills were printed, one in 2014 and another in 2016. And they feature this particular error. So the error is, and the bills went into circulation before the mistake was found. So over 6 million bills, over 6 million $1 bills were printed and distributed into circulation. So in November of 2014, the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing sent a request to its Washington, D.C. facility to print a batch of $1 bills. But in July of 2016, the exact same request was sent to the Fort Worth facility. So basically, the bills got duplicated. So this miscommunication resulted in dollars being printed with duplicate serial numbers, technically counterfeiting the currency. Big old mess. Anyway, long story short, there are currency collectors out there who are willing to pay top dollar if you happen to have one of these $1 bills, which had been duplicated. So you might want to check your cash stash and see what kind of $1 bills you may have, because you might be sitting on $150,000 and don't even know it. Definitely share this video with a friend or family member, and make them aware that, hey, they might have they might have an unexpected lottery ticket in the form of a $1 bill worth a lot more than they think. State Farm, they will no longer be issuing property insurance in California. California just can't get a break, can they? I mean, between San Francisco falling apart, all these different stores leaving San Francisco, now you got a major insurance company like State Farm no longer issuing property insurance. Is wild, especially when you think about the fact that the average American's largest asset is basically their house. So just imagine, even if you have a paid off house, can you imagine sitting on a $400, $500 million house, however much your house is worth, and it's not insured, and then God forbid something terrible happened to the home and it's not covered? This could literally wipe people out in the blink of an eye. So State Farm will no longer be selling homeowner and property insurance policies in California, citing the state's wildfire risk and construction costs are outpacing inflation. I can't make this stuff up, guys. They are saying that inflation and wildfire risks are just too costly to remain profitable, or to at least make it worth being issuing policies out in California. As of Saturday, the agency will cease accepting new applications, including all businesses and personal lines of property and casualty insurance. Now, just think about this for a second, guys. If more and more, now granted, State Farm's not the only insurance company in California, so hopefully, there's other insurance companies that are not planning on pulling out. But think about it. If you have a home for sale and you have a hard time, imagine you have a home for sale and insurance companies are pulling out of your state in terms of coverage. Just imagine how difficult it would be to try to sell that house, knowing you can't get, or you might struggle to get, insurance coverage for your property. And I mean, this could be a huge problem for real estate values, the housing market in the state of California, because just imagine the banks are paying attention to this. And whenever you get a mortgage, the banks are not going to let you just have a financed property, whether it's a car or a home, and allow it to be uninsured or underinsured. So just imagine if more and more companies start pulling out, more and more insurance companies start pulling out of California, that's going to create a horrible problem in the real estate market for Californians. And home prices could go no direction but down if that happens. So I don't know how many people live in the state of California, but definitely get this message out, because people need to understand what is happening and what is coming down the pipeline, because things are changing rapidly. So anyway, guys, I do hope that you guys got some value out of this video. You should see a video here or here. Definitely check out these videos right after this one. Again, if you guys made it this far in the video, drop a huge like for the video. Also subscribe to the channel and let me know what your favorite topic was that we covered in today's video. I really appreciate you guys. You guys be safe.